Hi, this is Ron and Seacrest on the real Civil War. We traveled back in time to interview guests from the Civil War time period. This is Abraham Lincoln. Well, first of all, could you tell us a little bit about your birth and when you died?
Yes, I was born February 12th, 1809, and I died April 14th, 1865.
Were you married?
I married a lady named Mary Todd and had 4 sons with her.
I heard one time something about one of your sons had a disease or something.
Oh no, that was me. I had Marfan syndrome, and it's a connective tissue disease.
Oh, well, I was talking about your son. Is he?
Yes, he just became ill at a very young age and died soon thereafter.
Well, next, would you like to talk about your personal life a bit?
Sure. I was the 16th president elected in 1860, but before that I lost an election of 1858 to Stephen Douglas, but I gained a national fame from that, and then won in 1860.
Well, could you tell a little bit more about your career info, like the
yes.
stuff you achieved?
While I was the 16th president, the Civil War began, and it began at Fort Sumter when I sent 75,000 troops to fight the Confederates.
Well, I've heard many times that you were assassinated, but I don't know if this is true.
Yes, it is true. John Wilkes Booth assassinated me while at the theater.
Well, do you have any common names that people call you, little nicknames or anything like that?
Yeah, my most common name was Honest Abe, and I got that. They thought I was really trustworthy, and they decided to call me Honest Abe.
Well, did you have anything about your career, I've heard of something called the Emancipation Proclamation?
Yes, that was a proclamation I made in 1863, and it made anybody that's slave state a free state, so there'd be no more slaves.
That sounds very important. Well, we were here with Abraham Lincoln on the real Civil War. We'll see you later.
And I sent 75,000 troops to Fort Sumter to fight. And in 1863, I issued the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing all slaves in any slave states, declaring everyone a free state.
Well, this was Abraham Lincoln on the real Civil War. Thank you.
The real Stonewall Jackson.
We're back on the real Civil War. This time we will be interviewing Thomas Jackson, sitting right next to me. Well, Thomas, would you like to say anything about your birth and when you were born or anything like that?
I was born on January 21st, 1824 in Clarksburg, Virginia.
Were you single or married or?
I married Eleanor Junkin in 1853, but she died a year later during childbirth. And then I married Mary Anna Morrison in 1857.
Well, could you tell us a little bit about your school or if you had any education or anything like that?
Well, my parents died when I was just a child, so I had to educate myself for the most part. But I graduated from West Point in 1846 when I was 22 years old.
Do you have anything to say about your career or?
Well, I was a general during the war, and it was at the Battle of Bull Run when I got my nickname. They said that I was standing like a Stonewall.
Sweet.
So, is your nickname Stonewall Jackson?
Yes.
In quotes. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your personal life in general?
Well, my brother passed away when he was just a baby from my second wife, and then I just went to school and joined in the war.
Well, I'm guessing you died at some time?
Yeah, during the Battle of Chancellorsville, I had my left arm amputated, and I died on May 10th, 1863.
Well, you heard it here on The Real Civil War. Thank you, Thomas Jackson, for joining us. talk to you later, folks. We're back on the Real Civil War. This time we have Robert E. Lee. Well, Robert, would you like to say anything about your birth and when you were born or
Yes.
such?
I was born on January 19th, 1807.
Were you married or were you single or?
Yes, I got married to my wife Mary in 1831, and we had 2 boys and 1 girl.
Well, I've heard some common names about you. Would you like to name any common names?
Yes, my most common name was Granny Lee.
Granny Lee. Well, would you like to say anything about your school or your career life or anything like that?
Yes, I graduated from West Point after 4 years, and I first became a lieutenant in the war, then became a captain, then I finally became a general.
Well, would you like to name any victories of the battles you fought in or commanded?
Yes, I won the Battle of Fredericksburg, but I also lost the Battle of Gettysburg.
Well, like when did you die, or when did you die?
I died on October 12th, 1870.
Well, you heard it here at the end of our show about Robert E. Lee, and we hope to see you next episode.